3, 2, 1.
Hey, everybody. Hey, welcome to this episode of Movies Merica Live. As always, I am your humble host, Van Eberts, and we'll be talking about The Crow here on this episode of Movies Merica Live. And, this movie features tons of gunplay, obviously talking about The Crow, tons of gunshots, and tragically, one gunshot too many. No Alec Baldwin, you can stop sweating. Well, at least about this particular episode. In this episode, you and I are going to discuss The Crow, the 1994 movie that, as good as it is undeniably remembered more for how gun safety negligence on the set of this movie tragically killed Brandon Lee. A young, promising life ended far too soon, just like his dad, Bruce Lee's life. And we'll get more into depth about, this intriguing and tragic moment in history. But first, we are going to, or actually I am, going to give you something to dance to.
In a world where the number of movies available is great, but many are so bad, you'll learn a new definition of hate. One man sifts and reviews through the movie sludge. One man will be the movie cop, jury, and judge. He goes by many names, but you know him by Movies Merica. Yes. I'm all pumped up on this Sunday here. And, instead of sleeping away the Sunday afternoon, instead of napping, join me here for this Crow edition, this retro edition of Movies Merica Live, because this, the movie theater schedule for this week, especially it being Super Bowl Sunday, no movie studio wanted to go up against the Super Bowl. So it is a dead week as far as new movies go, I should say. And what a perfect opportunity to talk about a classic retro movie like The Crow, okay? And, I want to welcome everybody here, especially my movie maniacs and my fellow freedom-fueled film fanatics, just like my man, Unfolding Joker, that I see here is already in the comments. And, he says, bro, what's up, dude? Yeah, good to see you. All right. So, Unfolding Joker, man, he's a soldier. Okay, he's a warrior in the Movies Merica Wars, if there were such a thing. Okay, so he's always got my back here, and I always appreciate him being here for every episode of Movies Merica. Okay, and let's get right into The Crow here today. And like I was mentioning before the intro, this movie no doubt is known more for the tragic accidental killing of Brandon Lee. And his family obviously was saddened by it. His mom, Linda Lee, sued over his wrongful death and all that stuff. And but this is the 30th anniversary of The Crow, and that's another reason that I wanted to do this review here. Is, it doesn't seem like 30 years since way back in 1994, but yeah, it's been 30 years since the movie was released. It's been 31 years since, or almost 31 years since Brandon Lee was tragically killed. But about this movie, it was directed by Alex Proyas, who not long after this movie, a few years after this movie, he also directed Dark City, and then he also, I believe, directed, iRobot? There we go. Yeah, mine went blank there. My Windows operating system and my brain had a reboot there for a second. So, but he also directed iRobot with Will Smith. And of course, the plot of The Crow is all about Eric Draven and his fiancée Shelley being murdered by some thugs, and then a year later, Eric Draven being resurrected by this mysterious crow, and coming back a year after him and his fiancée were killed to exact bloody revenge on those that murdered them right there. So and it's you get to see the revenge exacted out in hardcore gritty fashion in this, and just like in the comic that this movie was based off of, it's a dark, gritty, no holds barred, unrelenting, violent revenge tale, basically. So, and hey, I see Agent X6 here on Pilled, here in the live chat on Pilled. He is the inaugural member of the Pilled posse here, joining the show from Pilled.net. And that reminds me here, just like seeing Unfolding Joker in the live chat, to remind you to get in the live chat on Rumble, on Pilled, on YouTube, so that, we can talk back and forth about The Crow and whatever else, because, this is not a one-man show, okay? I need my Pilled posse. I need, the Rumble Renegades to help me out with this, because I know I'm not the only one who likes The Crow. I mean, The Crow is a beloved movie. It's a cult classic. And I got a feeling Unfolding Joker and Agent X6 like The Crow just as much as I do. And Agent X6 makes a good point. Hard to believe it was out that long ago already. Yeah, it's nuts, isn't it? Agent X6 is nuts. How long ago this movie came out here, but yeah. So Eric comes back to exact revenge on T-Bird and Tintin and Fun Boy and Skank, and of course they're run by Top Dollar, the main villain in this, played by Michael Wincott, with that Michael Wincott voice, that he's got in all his movies there. And but Ernie Hudson is plays this cop, this beat cop that was there at the crime scene of Eric and Shelley's murder. And then we've got Sarah's the little girl that was friends with Eric and Shelley, and she serves as a narrator in some parts of this movie. And then we also have we got Tony Todd. He's like Top Dollar's right hand man, and you just get to see this hellscape that is this disgusting city that the murder takes place in, and then the exacting of the revenge by Eric Draven. And again, I mean, the plot isn't really any more complicated than that. It's just Eric and Shelley get murdered. A year later, Eric is resurrected by the Crow, who takes on the character or the namesake, or the I don't know. I want to say the character of the Crow, okay? And he's telepathically connected to the Crow. He derives this immortality from the other world, from the dark side, from the Crow. And it's a good revenge fantasy. And in case you guys didn't know, there is going to be a Crow reboot coming out. It's supposed to be released this year, with Bill Skarsgård playing the Crow. Bill Skarsgård, you may know him better as Pennywise in the It reboots. So Bill Skarsgård, I guess he's really big on being the main character in reboots of classics. Okay, and so that's that. The Crow reboot, actually, it's already been filmed. It was filmed back in 2022. It's just the opening of it, the release of it has been delayed by strikes and that kind of thing. But still not sure how I feel about this movie being rebooted. My first inclination was, what are you talking about? But I think that if that reboot draws attention to the Brandon Lee version of The Crow, then I think that's a good thing. It's just that, I mean, like I said, this movie came out 30 years ago. So there's a whole generation that they have no idea who the hell Brandon Lee is. It doesn't have the same significance to them as it does to me and, and others that, were alive in the 90s. I mean, to us, it's like, there's this emotional connection to The Crow. And we were like, we all say to ourselves and ask others, like, where were you when you heard about Brandon Lee, being tragically shot on the set of this movie here? But, yeah, so we'll get more into The Crow and Brandon Lee and all that here. But real quick, let me remind you to like this episode, okay? Smash that like button, okay? Just crush that like button there. And then also, while you're in the smashing and crushing mood and you're already there smashing and crushing the like button, smash and crush that follow or subscribe button down there as well. And just follow me here on Rumble, on Pilled, on X, on Gab, most of the social medias I'm on. Okay, I'm not on TikTok. Okay, for obvious reasons, because I'm not a moron. I just insulted everybody that's on TikTok over here. So we're gonna get further into The Crow right here and go from there. And I see we got Unfolding Joker like Rick Sanchez and Bird Person. And then we got Agent X6. Wow, look at that. He gifted me the cookie over there on Pill. I appreciate that. And he says, just me, but I'll pass on reboots and watch the original again. Exactly. I mean, it's I'll give the reboot a fair shake and I'll check it out. I'm sure, obviously, me being in the movie reviewing game, I will check out the Crow reboot and give it its just due. Right now, I'm assuming I am assuming that I'm not going to like it near as much. I mean, I can't fathom how I would like this reboot more than the '94 Brandon Lee version. But I at least want to be able to say, hey, I gave it its fair due. I watched it. I didn't just not bother to see it and then just crap all over it, even though I haven't seen it. I'm worried about, obviously, any kind of reboot in this day and age, because what do they always do? They remake things for a modern audience. Basically, which means that, I'm surprised they didn't make The Crow like, a black, lesbian, quadriplegic, in this, because that's usually what they mean by making something for a modern audience, just completely redoing it and all that stuff. I mean, just all the dreck that usually goes with remaking something for a modern audience. But Agent XX, it's fun to insult TikTok users. Yes, that's the American way. Yes. And Unfolding Joker says, yes, smash that like button, smash that follow and subscribe button. Yeah, get in there. All right. So, let me take a minute here while I'm thinking about it to remind you guys to check out the tdpn.locals.com website, where we have all our Till Death Podcast Network content, like movies, or not movies. we're not that big yet. Like videos and blogs and articles all about movies and entertainment and cocktail recipes, booze and music and politics and, hot button topics of the day. You can find it all and more at tdpn.locals.com. And as you see right down below, if you put in promo code TDPN, as in Till Death Podcast Network, you're going to get 1 month free membership to one tdpn.locals.com website. And then after that, it's just $3 a month minimum. You can give us $3 a month, or if you want to, donate more, that's fantastic. That's perfectly fine. Hey, far be it from us to refuse your hard-earned cash. Okay, but it's just a measly $3 to get access to everything on tdpn.locals.com. So check that out. You're going to get content there written and presented in a way that you will not see anywhere else. Believe me. Am I right? Yes, I am right. Okay, so get in there, do it, check it out right now. Okay, well, not right now. Watch this show right now, and then after this show is over with, then go check it out. Okay, so you got we have to do things in order. Okay, so all things in its place. You bet. So. All right. Hey, how about a little bit more all about the Crow, everybody? What do you guys think? Yeah, let's talk more about it here. So, and hey, you know what? It wouldn't be a good conversation about the Crow without this guy up on the screen. Yes, the legend. So the gone too soon legend that is Brandon Lee here. And I love this picture. It's so gothic. It's so dark. It just kicks so much ass. I love it. So Trent Reznor would be very, very proud and appreciative of that picture. That just kind of gives me kind of a Nine Inch Nails Trent Reznor vibe to that picture there. But all right. So, hey, before I get really in depth into the movie here, let me wet my whistle real quick here. Good stuff. All right. So, yeah, I mean, let's first talk about the actual content of the movie, and then we'll get a little bit more into the tragic death of Brandon Lee a little later on. I mean, from the standpoint of what the cinematic end result is, I mean, this is simply a fantastic movie. I mean, forget about everything else. This is so much different than anything else Brandon Lee had done up to this point. I mean, The Crow is by far, hands down, the most stylized movie that Brandon Lee had ever been a part of. I mean, you got the production design by Alex McDowell, you know, the city, the dark city, and it's always raining, you know, the locations. And then you got the accompanying track list that punctuates different scenes, you know, from the likes of like The Cure, Stone Temple Pilots, Nine Inch Nails, and so on. And then you also get like the frenetic, kinetic camera angles that director Alex Proyas features throughout the whole movie. And then you get the twisted harmony that the stellar supporting cast provided to Brandon Lee via just the scummy criminal characterizations of David Patrick Kelly as T-Bird, and then Laurence Mason as Tintin, Angel David or David, I don't know how you pronounce that, as Skank, and then finally Michael Massee as Fun Boy. You know, they're basically the puppets of Top Dollar, and they're the ones they killed Eric and Shelley, and that's who he's exacting revenge on. And Lee must have absolutely been awash in movie making mirth with all of these factors I just mentioned falling into place. Well, except for the chaotic set of The Crow and all the safety issues and that kind of thing, which are very well documented. There's a lot of stories published about the safety issues. Pardon me. The safety issues on The Crow. And it even had at least one crew member that commented he thought that the set of The Crow was haunted because it just seemed like nothing would go right on the set of this Crow, and obviously that all culminated in the ultimate tragedy, the ultimate thing not going right, which was Brandon Lee being killed, of course. And now, if only we could have gotten to see, or only if Brandon Lee could have gotten to see the whole end result, which is The Crow, in its final form, and more to the point, the public's overwhelming positive reaction to it. Now, with the way I believe, Brandon Lee did get to see all of that. Okay, he got to see the end result, the finished product, and all of our reactions, even in death. And the thought of that, it makes me happy. So just the thought of that is just fantastic. Thinking about Brandon Lee in the afterlife, still getting to see, all the love poured out to him, by us, and just the overwhelming response to the movie here. So, all right, let me check live chat here real quick here, just make sure I'm not missing anybody here. And Agent X6 in Pilled, he's putting up some great pictures of Brandon Lee as Eric Draven in this. Just a fantastic. So, just a beloved character is Brandon Lee as Eric Draven. So, all right. And then just want to take a chance here, or take a moment to remind you guys all about this great product called Nature Clear. Yes, Nature Clear recovery powder, to be more exact. And Nature Clear Recovery Powder helps prevent a hangover for you, for me, anybody who takes Nature Clear Recovery Powder. And it's really easy to take. You just take this packet here. Yeah, there we go. I want to make sure I have hold that up, right side up. You just take this packet, you just pour it in a bottle of water, shake that bad boy up, and just chug it on down before you go out to have a good time, whether you're slamming beers or you're sipping some whiskey or whatever you're going to do. And you don't want to have to worry about a hangover the next day. Yeah, just grab some Nature Clear, take that. And now, great thing is if you forget to take your Nature Clear when you're out there, if you're, hip deep in the middle of, chugging some beers and you realize you forgot to take your Nature Clear, not a problemo, folks. Okay, just take it when you get home and you're good to go. And it's also fantastic for recovery from smoking and vaping, okay? And so how do you get your hands on this great product? Well, I shall tell you, okay? You just got to click on the Nature Clear link in the description down below, okay? So just look at the description of this episode and then click on the Nature Clear link down there and pick out your Nature Clear products, get it in the shopping cart, and then put in promo code MOVIES in the old promo code field, and you are going to get up to 25% off your next order, right?
Damn.
Yeah, damn right. Yeah. And so, yeah, you've got the power to do that. So get in there and get that done, everybody. And, but don't do it now. Do it after the episode. Okay. We have to focus, everybody. Focus on this episode. Okay. So there we go. All right. So let's move on here with the Crow episode here of Movies Merica Live. Okay. And what else is there to say about this? No doubt, Brandon Lee was on his way up. I mean, no one can convince me otherwise. Brandon Lee was going to be a megastar after The Crow. I mean, if you watched his earlier movies like Rapid Fire and Showdown in Little Tokyo, you'll see, just like in The Crow, he just had that whimsical, smart alecky charisma to go along with his martial arts skills. He would have been sort of a combination of Paul Rudd, with his smarminess, and then Jason Statham with his martial arts prowess. And I mean, I have no doubt that we would have seen years and years of people seeing Brandon Lee's name over the movie title or over movie titles on posters or a movie theater marquee and running to the theater to see the latest Brandon Lee movie. I mean, you get movie critic Roger Ebert, no relation to yours truly. Even Roger Ebert said, it is a sad irony that this film is not only the best thing Brandon Lee accomplished, but is actually more of a screen achievement than any of the films of his father, Bruce Lee. In other words, The Crow was going to be a springboard, a nitro boost, really, to Lee's career. And, Brandon Lee didn't want to just be a martial arts actor. He told his mom that his next movie after The Crow had absolutely zero martial arts in it. I mean, he was really excited about it, as you would imagine. I mean, you don't want to be typecast, right? You want to be able to flex your muscles and, you want to be able to spread your wings, your acting wings after The Crow, so to speak. So, yeah, Brandon Lee he would have been a megastar, I think. He would have been one of those actors like The Rock, one of those actors where he's just part of the zeitgeist, right? And sadly, we never got to see that whatsoever with that. So, all right. So, and I mean, let's talk about some random thoughts about The Crow here as well. I mean, I found this fascinating, but Brandon Lee's stunt double in The Crow was none other than Chad Stahelski, who would later be Keanu Reeves' stunt double in the Matrix movies. And I think the Matrix movies took a lot from The Crow as well here. Just that thought just popped into my head right there. But now Stahelski nowadays is known more to us as the director of the John Wick movies, okay? And then, so after Brandon Lee was tragically killed, there were some scenes that they still needed to film for this. Now, from a movie making standpoint, they were almost done filming all of Brandon Lee's scenes. I think he only had like 8 more days of filming, but they had to have his stunt double film the rest of Brandon Lee's scenes after his tragic death, and that would be Chad Stahelski. So yeah, not a lot of scenes, but some of the scenes that you see in this movie is actually Chad Stahelski playing Eric Draven, but then they superimposed Brandon Lee's facial features over Chad Stahelski. Now, also another note about The Crow is many wanted to shoot The Crow in black and white, just like Brandon Lee, for example. He wanted to shoot it in black and white. And then also the author of The Crow comic, James O'Barr, they said they wouldn't mind The Crow being shot in black and white. However, they did establish a compromise with the movie studio, because the movie studio was like, absolutely not. You are not filming this in black and white. And so they found a compromise with using the filters that almost make the movie completely black and white. And I know you know what I'm talking about, because the movie, yeah, when you watch it, is undoubtedly, sans color. Okay, there's barely any color whatsoever in The Crow. And it helps still put forth, that bleak atmosphere and aura that they wanted to embrace, given the subject matter. Because I mean, the subject matter of the comic, they wanted to, imbue that. Is that a word? Or it just put that forth into this movie here. So, and they wanted to make it as close to black and white as possible to really just drive home that bleakness of the movie. Now, even though the movie is called The Crow, we do hear Eric quoting the Raven from Edgar Allan Poe as he rightfully torments Gideon, played by Jon Polito, the pawn shop owner, as he rightfully torments Gideon, with the "while I nodded, nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping, as of someone gently rapping at my chamber door." That old quote that he gives to Gideon. And now that isn't the only literary reference in The Crow. We also get David Patrick Kelly as T-Bird, and he's actually in the flashback scenes when they're flashing back to the murder of Shelley and Eric. They show T-Bird, and he's reading out of John Milton's Paradise Lost, and he taunts Eric with one of the more famous quotes from Paradise Lost, which is, "Abashed the devil stood and felt how awful goodness is." And another famous quote from that book, Paradise Lost, is, and I'm sure we've all heard it, and that quote is, "It's better to reign in hell than to serve in heaven." And as we saw in this movie, well, T-Bird got to test out that theory, thanks to Draven turning his Ford Thunderbird into a bomb in this movie. So, but yeah, just at least a couple of literary references between Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven and John Milton's Paradise Lost in this. So, all right, let's check out any comments that we have here, because I don't want to leave anybody out. And we got Unfolding Joker killing it in the live comments in Rumble. And we've got if I'm pronouncing the what do we got here? Sneezer. I'm probably saying that wrong there. That's, he's got to making some chats here, some comments here in the chat. And wait, Brandon, who? Okay. And yes, we got I pity the person who hasn't seen it yet. Well, I mean, this movie came out 30 years, so if you haven't seen it in 30 years, I have no sympathy for you whatsoever. Okay, so no sympathy whatsoever at this point right there. So still go see it. Still go see it. Okay, this movie right here. And what we got, black and white as well, like often epic. But Sneezer, I will agree with you on that. We park our car in the same garage on that black and white as well. Like we had a great example of that recently here with the black and white release of Godzilla -1, which looked fantastic. Agent X6 also says, yeah, Brandon had a lot of potential. No doubt, no doubt. So someone could argue with me about that, but they're going to lose. You know why? Because they're damn wrong. And we've got Sneezer saying big box office wants to push certain narratives as larger than life in Technicolor. And it's another great quote there, Sneezer. Crow, from the Crow here, another great quote was, "Mother is the name of God on the lips of all children." Yeah, I remember that scene where he was saying that to Sarah's mother and got her straightened out. You bet. So, yep. And he goes ahead and corrects Sneezer. Yes, there we go. Actually got that right. Wow, that's 9 out of 10 times I get people's names wrong. So, but yeah, appreciate you joining the show here. Appreciate that. So, all right. What do we got? What do we got here? I think what my thirst is telling me to do next is bring you some brew review time here, and I also have my beer, my brew. You're staring me down, telling me, hey, or asking, hey, are you going to drink me or what? So I guess that's enough of a clue to let's do a little brew review time, shall we? And here we go. All right, everybody. Okay, so brew review time for you. And the brew review of the brew for this brew review time here, if I can get that out here, is some 1664 Blanc from France, as you may have guessed from the name of this beer here, Blanc. And this is like just some like a wheat beer here with like this citrus twist to it, and it's got like 5% alcohol by volume, so it's not going to knock you on your butt or anything like this. But it's got very crisp. It's got a crisp flavor to it, and it's got like this slight champagne bubbliness to it there, which I guess it kind of goes without saying here since it's from France. And it's got like a coriander flavor to it as well. So this is not a bland, blah, boring flavor to this particular brew. So I think it's pretty good. Now, if it sucked, I would tell you, okay, because I'm not getting any money from this brewery whatsoever. But to be perfectly honest, I think it's not too shabby, and it has like this very unique character to it. And I always appreciate that in a beer. I mean, you get sick of drinking these bland, boring beers, and so I like to spice it up every once in a while with something like 1664 Blanc. But let me take a tug off this bad boy here real quick. Pretty damn good. Pretty damn good. And as you would expect, or as you would imagine here with this, you're probably not going to find this at your local convenience store or most grocery stores. Okay. If you can't find it, handily in your area, which probably you're not, unless you have like a Total Wine and More, like some, big booze, version of Costco in your area, you're probably going to have to go somewhere like GoPuff.com or Drizzly.com or Open Bar as an app. Those are kind of like the Amazon of booze, basically, where you can get some more obscure beers delivered to your door. Okay, but I would recommend 1664 Blanc. It's going to spice up your brew drinking life, no doubt here. So, but hey, everybody, let's move it along here. That has been brew review time. Okay, everybody. So, hey, while I'm thinking about it here, don't let me forget to remind you that we are going to have the spoiler warning version of Movies Merica this Thursday, as usual. And that'll be coming out on 7 Eastern, 6 Central, 5 Mountain, and 4 Pacific time this Thursday night, okay? And now, as Sneezer
pointed out, yes, this has not exactly been my normal spoiler-free episode, but with most retro reviews, some movies that obviously aren't new, okay, for lack of a better way of putting it, yeah, the spoiler-free episode is not exactly going to be spoiler-free. Now, if the movies come out, I'll say, if the movies come out like the last 10 years, I usually try to keep it spoiler-free, but for a movie that came out 30 freaking years ago, no, I'm not going to try to keep it spoiler-free. So, but spoiler warning, the movies America spoiler warning on Thursday night, that will no doubt be, crawling with spoilers, even more than this episode here. So, and we're going to go more in depth in The Crow. I try to keep these Sunday episodes a little shorter, and then really get into the meat of the movies on Thursday night when I've got a little bit more time on my hands. So we're going to do a deeper dive, a more full autopsy on The Crow this Thursday night. So definitely check me out or check the show out then. All right. So is this movie a woke after school special? Not at all. Not at all. It is not a woke after school special. Not one bit. But with every movie, if that's what I always like to mention, if it's a woke after school special, because unfortunately in this day and age, that's one thing that you have to look out for in movies. And I think Sneezer was kind of talking about it earlier, where there's no shortage of people that want to try to shove a narrative down your throat with movies there. Instead of just worrying about entertaining you, they make entertaining you about priority number 17 and shoving a narrative down your throats as hard as they possibly can. Priority number 1. Okay, so all right. So, and let me check out live chat here real quick. I just want to make sure I don't leave anybody out here. So, all right. So, yeah, it's Sneezer. Yeah, you got that right. Everything is woke nowadays. Well, yeah, most things are woke. Every once in a while, you have a nice little departure from the woke with something like Top Gun Maverick and Reacher and all that stuff. So, but yeah, fantastic observation right there. And Agent X6, he's got his stone cold Steve Austin toast right there. So appreciate that coming from the party time. Excellent from the Pilled Posse. All right. And what we got here, I got to put this up here. So, unfolding joker. He's old. He's slow. He likes to sniff little kids. Occasionally, he craps his pants. Joe Biden is Dark Brandon in the poopening. Dark Brandon pooping in a theater near you. Wow. Well, who's not going to line up for that right there? Yeah, it's get some no shortage of great comments right here in this episode of Movies America Live. All right. But yeah, I think we've established that The Crow, if there's any woke in it, from a movie 30 years ago, I didn't notice it, but correct me if anybody else saw any kind of what we would call woke nowadays back then. Another note about The Crow. I mean, the soundtrack to The Crow by Graham Revell, it's absolutely masterful with its percussion-heavy Middle Eastern vibes. And it's also paired with like some classic strings in the soundtrack to really drive home the emotion when needed. Kind of like that scene where Sarah goes, back to Shelley and Eric's old apartment, and she's, talking to Eric because she thinks Eric is there, and they're reunited. Her and Eric are reunited, and then Graham Revell's like strings just really kick in to really just drive up that emotion of that scene. I mean. And then, Graham Revell's soundtrack and praising that. I mean, that's not even to mention the legendary track list from the Crow soundtrack, from artists like Nine Inch Nails, Machines of Loving Grace, Stone Temple Pilots, The Cure, Helmet, Pantera, Violent Femmes, and Rage Against the Machine, who are actually more Rage for the Machine nowadays. So, hey, Rage for the Machine, have you gotten your 48th booster yet? So, my God. Another note about The Crow is, what can I say about the supporting cast in The Crow?
My favorite other character in this movie, other than Eric Draven, is Michael Wincott's top dollar. Okay, the top baddie in The Crow. I mean, in Michael Wincott, he's always specialized at playing baddies in movies. I mean, he was the Mark Strong before Mark Strong. Okay, Mark Strong, you always see him playing, bad guys. In like the first Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock Holmes movie, he was a bad guy in Kick-Ass. Mark Strong is like the go-to guy for bad guys. But before we had Mark Strong, we had Michael Wincott. And Michael Wincott just made a cottage industry, back in the 90s playing bad guys. And then also we have, Ernie Hudson, from Ghostbusters, and then we had Jon Polito and David Patrick Kelly, again, another actor that likes to play bad guys, like Warriors, come out and play. Also he was, played Sully from Commando. And then we get, Candyman himself, Tony Todd is good in The Crow. I mean, just a great supporting cast in this. And we'll go more in depth about that on Thursday night here with the spoiler warning show there. So, all right. And let me remind everybody too, if you are appreciating what you're watching right now and you want to show me a little financial love, hey, you know what? More power to you if you want to go that route. You want to throw me a buck or two or whatever, you can definitely do that on Rumble. If you want to do that on Rumble, it's what's called a Rumble rant. And that's just a matter of hitting the old $ button right down by where you type in your live chat. If you want to do it on YouTube, you can do it via Super Chat. And on there, it's a button with a dollar bill. There, dollar bill, y'all. And then if you're on Pill, like Sneezer and Agent X6 are on, there, you just got to, give me like what we call gold pills. And Agent X6 already did that. Agent X6 already stepped up to the plate and gave me the cookie. Yeah, give me the cookie right there. So I appreciate that, Agent X6, stepping up to the plate. But if anybody else, wants to do that on Pilled, yeah, they don't have Super Chats or Rumble rants on Pilled. They have gold pills. And so you can show me some financial appreciation if you are so inclined. If you're not, that's fine. Hey, I just appreciate people joining me in the live chat on Pilled and Rumble and YouTube. I am touched, very touched, emotionally moved, okay, by that. So right there, Agent X6, boosters until their heart explodes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah, their machine is going to shut down with all the boosters right there. So my God, right there. So what do we got? BOC, what I hadn't even heard of that movie until you mentioned right there. And BOC, you mean why I did. So yeah, fill me in on BOC. I'm sure I'm having just a blonde moment right there with BOC. I'm sure it's probably just like a very obvious movie reference that I'm completely blanking out on. So right there. So yeah, Rumble rants, gold pills, super chats, what have you, by all means. Okay, so all right, that's enough begging for money out of me here. But yeah, my final thoughts about The Crow here, at least for this Movies America Live episode. Man, I still can't believe it's been 30 years since this cinematic classic was released. And I mean, we didn't just get a great movie, we got a great soundtrack. I mean, like, again, Nine Inch Nails, Pantera, we got Rage Against the Machine, Rage for the Machine, The Cure. I mean, I'm sure I'm not the only one. I just exhausted. I just used and abused, that soundtrack back in the day, and I still did. I mean, hey, Sneezer donated 122 gold pills. So, all right, there you go. Fantastic. Appreciate you doing that. It is not, I was going to say, obviously it did not go unnoticed. I just outright mentioned it. So I appreciate that. But yeah, I mean, if you know anybody that you even suspect may not have seen The Crow, turn them on to it. Okay. And I mean, and that way they can also do they can kind of do the Pepsi challenge thing if they watch the Brandon Lee version of the Crow, and then later on this year, because it's supposed to be later on this year that the Crow reboot comes out with Bill Skarsgård, they can rightfully do the Pepsi challenge and compare the two. I mean, outright right now, I mean, being the age that I am, and the fact that I was well old enough to watch The Crow. I mean, I saw The Crow in the theaters. I mean, that tells you how old I am. I'm going to assume that the '94 Crow is going to be better than the reboot there. So, I mean, the reboot is going to have to be just lights out, worlds better than the '94 version, but I just can't even fathom that in my mind how it's going to be better. But you never know. You never know. So, bud. Right there. But yeah, so that's my final thoughts on The Crow. But yeah, like I said before, we're going to go more in depth on The Crow on Thursday night there. But all right. So, hey, for everybody in Pilled, you guys are going to get a special treat in Pilled right there, because I'm going to do what's called releasing the scratching, okay, or releasing the scratch offs there, and that's your opportunity if you're in the live chat on Pilled to get your own gold pill. So I'm giving back to you, okay, for checking out my show on Pilled right here. So without further ado, here we go. I'm about to release the scratching in 3, 2, 1, go. All right. The scratching has been officially released in the pilled.net live chat right there. Appreciate you guys joining me there. And I do that every episode. All of the shows here on the Till Death Podcast Network, we always release the scratching on our shows right there. Okay, everybody. You guys have been great. I appreciate you guys joining me in this episode of Movies America Live. And hey, as always, people, get out there. Those movies aren't going to watch themselves. See ya.
Hey, everybody! Hey! I got the police after me. They're coming after me, okay? But I got just enough time to ask you. Just like this video, if you would, and then subscribe to this channel, okay? I'm gonna be in handcuffs pretty soon. I gotta tell you. Hey, so before they haul me off, make sure you watch these videos over here, okay? And thanks for watching this video and the Till Death Podcast Network, okay? I gotta go.